So, out of all the amino acids that make up a protein, what is the most important amino acid of that entire group to consume that's going to trigger muscle protein synthesis the best? Now, I know the temptation to say l-glutamine is really strong, but according to this research, it is not. It's actually leucine. So let's go right into the research to get a better idea. Now keep in mind, we're not talking protein efficiency ratio, we're not talking bioavailability, deatomization, amine bonds, breaking from nitrogen bonds, transfiguration due to heat damage, ash, so on and so forth. We are talking about basically which amino acid, not the quality and the types and how proteins are processed. So into the public research as follows. I changed the title a little bit. What is the most abundant or most vital amino acid for muscle growth? Or I should say abundant, which one's going to help you grow the best? Citation title is as follows. The impact of protein quality on the promotion of resistance, exercise-induced changes in muscle mass, published in Nutrition and Metabolism this October 2016. I know you heard protein quality, but we're talking about quality of the protein judged by the leucine content of which amino acid is going to help in a protein powder grow muscle the best. And keep in mind, this focus was just done solely on muscular hypertrophy. I want to say hypertrophy so bad. Resistance training protein supplements, not on strength. Full study is published online, so you can go into the details yourself. Funding is as follows. Beware of the COI, that's all I ask. Study length and type of meta-analysis. So they looked at some meta-analysis, or I should say groups of studies, for those that are not familiar with the word meta-analysis. They went as far as 9 months, and they were done on humans, in particular resistance training. But they looked at muscle growth as opposed to strength gains. Additional parameters, they did not use the typical PDCAA score, otherwise known as protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, as many of you dietitians and nutritionists who took nutrition during the 80s and 90s are familiar with. Instead, they used a more updated version called DIAA, which is digestible, indispensable amino acid score. So, to review the proteins they looked at, whey, pea, soy, rice, and blends is the reason they didn't look at egg, which is in the research if you want to look into it yourself. They looked at concentrates and they looked at isolates as well. The results. Now keep in mind also too, and we'll look at the study, they went on a gram-to-gram basis of leucine. So, for example, if soy was a little low in leucine, it could be compensated by taking extra soy. So, as a gram-to-gram basis, keep that in mind. So, gram-to-gram, according to the study, whey protein had the highest leucine content. It's not that there's not other benefits to other proteins out there, which there are, but we're just talking in regard to muscle growth. So, as follows, quoting the doctor, Dr. Phillips said, my assessment of the data on protein supplementation and resistance exercise reveals that the amount of leucine in a protein supplement has the greatest impact on muscle protein synthesis, said Dr. Phillips as we're quoting. Leucine is not only a building block for protein, but a trigger for working muscles to synthesize more protein. In essence, it turns on muscle protein synthesis like a light switch, so that over time there could be greater gains in lean body mass and strength, even though the study was not done on strength, and subsequently body composition improvements. So to recap the work, let's look at this chart over there. If you look at the brief or small group of proteins that they're looking at, you notice protein number 1 is the highest in leucine, henceforth has the highest muscle protein synthesis according to this research. So it has been shown that only indispensable amino acids are required for stimulation of muscle protein synthesis. Now, glutamine is not part of that group, so you guys want to debate upon that, that's perfectly fine, but I'm just going according to the research. Hence the term indispensable amino acid opposed to essential amino acid is used in keeping up recommended usage of the IAA. A position of prominence belongs to leucine as an amino acid that acts as a signaling molecule to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, as well as being a building block for protein. Now here's a list of the indispensable amino acids, courtesy Wikipedia, if you want to get an idea. Now keep in mind, all amino acids tend to do something in combinations and so on and so forth, but we're just talking in the constraint of the study. Thus, in situations where MPS, muscle protein synthesis, is the variable to be maximized, it would be more important to focus on the available leucine content, meaning if you're shopping for proteins in regard to muscle growth, he's saying look for the one with the best leucine content or the most leucine content, if known, rather than a total IA content, meaning all the indispensable amino acids mixed together, because it could still be low on leucine and henceforth not be as good at building muscle as one that is higher in leucine. Thus, the leucine threshold is an important concept since leucine is the amino acid that turns on muscle protein synthesis, and importantly is most likely the critical amino acid that is an important driver of muscle hypertrophy. All right, had to get that out. So if you get an idea, when looking for your protein sources, whether shopping, consuming, or making meals in some way, always look at the leucine content if your goal is really looking at just nothing more than growing muscle. Not to take away the benefits of other proteins, whether it be collagen, vegetable, plant, and so on and so forth. However, in the context of the study, leucine was the king in turning on muscle protein, or queen, muscle protein synthesis. I hope this information helps. I am Ralph Turchiano, signing off, and I'll catch you all again in another 7 days.